I was working as an apprentice mechanic when I was in my late teens, sort of 18, 19 years old, and I tended to sort of overwork really myself, and I ended up being hospitalised with a nervous breakdown, and I was quite ill for quite a long time, and struggled really badly in the period following that with quite bad anxiety levels and depression, during which time I didn't really feel like I had much to lean on in terms of getting help through the NHS. At that time it was a good sort of 12, 13 years ago now, which is quite scary. But at that time it didn't seem like there was a great amount that could be done via my doctor or through those channels. So I kind of looked for ways to try and understand what was happening to me and look for ways to try and manage it and get around it really. So at that period in time I sought some help through a counsellor, and through that learnt that I could help reduce my anxiety levels and stuff through exercise. And to be honest with you, since getting that advice, I would say that it's really the saviour of me, really, to be honest. It was pretty awful, to be honest. The most sort of terrifying thing really was the fact that I didn't understand what was happening to me. I'd just wake up every morning and just instantly feel very on edge, and that would sort of be sustained throughout the day really, and it was very tiring, and the fact that I was kind of always on edge but at the same time felt very tired. I found it very difficult to sleep. I'm quite classify myself as quite like a scientific kind of person, so I like to understand what's happening to me so I can sort of take action. And I didn't really feel like I was getting that. I was getting the chance to sort of offload and talk about things that perhaps made me the way I am, but really what I was more interested in is just trying to find a way of dealing with them so I can get on with my life. But looking back to that time now, at that point I wouldn't have wished it on my worst enemy. But now I'm at a point where I'm definitely 100% glad that happened to me, because it's given me a real insight into the fact that your mental health isn't set in stone. It can happen to anyone. The most active, most positive, most outgoing person can be turned into someone that is finds it difficult to get out of bed in the morning to do anything. I think there are certain parts of the way that I grew up and things that are just part of my personality that are definitely a trigger to the way that I can put myself under stress. But I've learned really that those things are the things that also drive me to be the person that I am. So it's very much integrated into my personality. So rather than seeing it as something that it's something that's just wrong with me, it is a part of my personality that drives me to do the good things. I think that, you know, the things that I'm proud of, but also has a tendency to push me towards being in a stressed, depressive state. Coming from a kind of a farm background, I've decided for some random reason that I was going to go for a horse riding lesson. So I went for a horse riding lesson and then ended up really enjoying it, and went back and it turned into a once a week type thing. So then I got introduced to kind of horse riding competition and horse trials and stuff, and show jumping and dressage and all that kind of thing, just for a friend that I'd met through riding horses, and decided that I really wanted to get involved and do some more. So I carried on riding, having 2 or 3 lessons at stables for about 6 months, and then I decided that I was going to loan my own, borrow or just take on a loan of a horse. And then it kind of went from there, and within sort of 5, 6 years, or 4, 5, 6, 7 years actually after that, it kind of dominated everything that I did really. So I had a lot of fun, and it sort of paved the way for just being a really active person. To be honest, horse got old, so I've had to kind of semi-retire him. So he has a bit of an easier life now. I've got into going to the gym a little bit more and stuff, and I found that's kind of replaced the sort of general activeness that I had through riding. But what I was going to say is it's not necessarily just being completely knackered all the time from training and going to the gym 2 times a day. I find that if I can just get my heart rate up and even just go for a long walk or go for a swim or anything. Something else I do quite a lot is I go swimming in the sea, at least sort of once, twice a week, which I find ridiculously relaxing and really, really refreshing, and just sort of a good way to stay active. So yeah, and all those things are, what I regard as the best things in life, really, and they don't cost a thing. I mean, and even talking about, most people regard like horse riding is quite an expensive thing to do, but you can easily go for a lesson at your local stables for, sort of £15. It's not really a massively expensive thing, and then see where it takes you. So that kind of high that you get from just general exercise, or just raising your heart rate, or going to the gym, or going for a swim, if you can sort of replicate that a few times a week, then pretty soon you will really lessen the effect of the anxiety and the depression or the feeling of anxiousness or sort of sadness that you feel. And over time, it really helped me to feel a hell of a lot more balanced. And to be honest with you, now I really wouldn't want to be without it. I leave the gym every time feeling very relaxed, and it sets me up for the day, if I'm honest, and just makes me feel generally more balanced. I've always been like a really sort of slim, like narrow person, and I've kind of at one point I was quite underweight, just I guess through a combination of quite a lot of stress and just perhaps doing a little bit too much with work and all that kind of stuff. And I've kind of got into a bit of resistance training, a bit of weight training, and then I've really got into that now. And I've actually, I know you'd never think it to look at me, but I've actually just joined a powerlifting association, and I'm going to do my first competition in November, which I'm really looking forward to. I know that I'm not going to be like competitive, but I just really enjoy it, and I've done one smaller competition before, and I just had such fun that I just really want to go back and do some more of it, just for the laugh, really, if I'm honest. So I just have a really good time, and as well as that, I feel like I'm looking after myself, which makes me feel good. I would say that during the period where I felt like very ill indeed, I had experience, even to this day really, but during that period I experienced a hell of a lot of social anxiety, in that I found it really, really nerve-wracking to be in a big group of people, or feel that people really wanted to talk to me or even spend time with me, because anxiety or depression has the ability to kind of make you feel like something that you're not really, or make you feel like a worse person than you actually are. So I would say to anyone that is thinking about trying to combat any issues that they have, any mental health issues at all, through exercise or just doing something to be involved with other people that are in a similar situation to you, i.e. volunteering. If you're wondering if you feel like it's something that you would like to do, but are wondering whether you can really carry it off, the answer is that you can. It's just that you just have to take a leap, and just say, instead of thinking I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, maybe just think, I'm going to do this and see what happens, and if it doesn't work out, at least I've tried. And pretty much everything that I've been really very nervous about in the first place that I've gone on to try and get involved with, I've been so glad that I've done, and it's given me, it's very much enriched my life and made me a happier person. So I'd say go for it.